so this is gonna be a tutorial for AI bosses and AI behavior. And in this video I'm gonna show you what you need to start, what is the basic that you need to have if you want to do this. So for me, I have a blueprint for my enemy player, and this blueprint is gonna use this skeletal mesh, which is from the animation pack of Great Sword. And also I've already created an enemy state machine and an enemy idle to run blend space. So over here is just a very basic blend space, so he can move forward and he can come and attack us. And I've plugged it over here in the state machine. And also for the event graph, for right now we only have the speed of the blend space. And so perfect. And for our player character over here, if you watch the combo system tutorial, we already have the apply sphere damage or do damage function that will do a sphere overlap. And for the first thing we need to make sure is that over here when we do apply damage, we're applying to the actor as tag of enemy. So I'm gonna go take this one, copy paste, and check in the enemy blueprint if he has already a tag, because we need to create it. So normally this will be like this, just add a tag and call it the exact same name, so enemy. Perfect. So once you did that, you can go back over here and we're gonna make a folder which is gonna be the enemy AI. And in this folder, what we need to do is that we need to create first of all a behavior tree. This is gonna be enemy BT. We're gonna need also a blackboard, so just call it enemy blackboard. And we're also gonna need AI controller for the enemy. So this is gonna be AI controller over here. You can search for the blueprint. So just call it enemy AI controller. And once you get this controller, the first thing you can do is just open it up, and on even begin over here, we're gonna run the behavior tree. So take it and you're going to select the enemy behavior tree. Hit compile. And for this controller to work, we need to go back to the enemy blueprint. And in the class default over here in the top, we can choose the AI controller class over here, and this is gonna be not the AI basic, but this is gonna be the enemy AI controller class that we create. So perfect, just hit compile, and you're gonna go back to enemy AI. You're going to open the behavior tree. First of all, make sure that you're using the enemy blackboard over here, so when we can switch from both. So we're gonna go to the blackboard, and over here at new key we're gonna make an object. This one is gonna be the target that the AI gonna go after, so it's gonna be the player. And this for the object, we have to make the base class at least an actor. It's safe, and we're gonna add another variable which is gonna be a vector, and this is gonna be for the AI to move around, roaming around when he is not attacking us or he's not targeting us. So just leave it like that, and it's safe. Okay. So right now what we can do is we're going to go back to the enemy blueprint, and we're going to get the function to get the target. So we're gonna create 3 functions over here, and the first one, rename it. This one's gonna be set target. This one is gonna be get target. And this one is gonna be to clear the target. Right, so we're going to start first by getting something where, like, we're going to get sphere collision, and this we're going to call sphere vision. So with this, what we can do is on overlap of this, let's make the sphere, let's go to viewport, and let's make this sphere, let's say 1000. So on component overlap of this sphere, we can give vision to the AI. So we can set the target and clear the target if we go out of this sphere. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go here and you're gonna get the begin overlap, and again the end overlap. And with this, we can use those functions, and we can set the target to the player, and we can do stuff. We can attack the player once it is in the vision of the AI. So we could do it with AI perception in the behavior tree, but this is gonna be like the first step we're gonna do. We're gonna start by using this because it's much simpler and it also gonna give good result. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna start by branching. And at the other actor, you want to check if it's not equal to yourself. And what we can do is we're going to cast to my character blueprint for now, and we're going to plug this other actor in there. So now we can start going over here in this function, and we're gonna get the AI controller. And the control actor is gonna be self, and for this we're gonna get the blackboard value and set the value as object. You're gonna plug this in the set target function, and for the key name over here, you're gonna make literal name, and you can call this one target. So for this function, we need to have an input allow. So over here, just make it an actor variable, and we're going to call it new target. So every time we go and overlap, we get a new target, which is ourself. And we're going to go to the clear target function, and what we want to do is when we end the overlap, we want to set the value of the blackboard key to null, to go back to null, so the AI is not targeting us. So you're gonna get the AI controller again and get the blackboard, and over here you can do clear value, plug it in the clear target, and for this key name, make literal name and call it the same target. So now we can do function to get the target which is overlapping. So you're gonna get the AI controller again, get a copy of herself, you're gonna get blackboard, and from the get blackboard we're gonna get value as object, and for key name just make literal name again and take the target. And what we want to do over here is cast to actor, so do cast to actor, and for the cast we can convert to pure cast, so this function only return the target and doesn't do any action. So we're gonna get a return node. For this to work, you want to go over here in the function and add output, and the output again is going to be the target, and it's going to be an actor. So plug this over here, and now we have our three functions to set, get, and clear the target. So what we want to do is, after this cast, we can set the target to the character blueprint, and when we end this task, we just want to check if it's equal at the end overlap. We're going to get the target, and for this to work a bit better, we want to go to this function, and we want to make a pure cast, and want to make it constant. So like this function is not doing anything to what we're trying to do. It's just simply returning the value of the actor as a blackboard key. So as you can see, if we make it pure, we're losing the execution pin over here. So we can just go here and branch and plug it in. And what we're gonna do is take this, and if this is true, we're gonna clear the target. Perfect. So this is gonna be, we're just gonna call it overlap set get and clear target. As a comment, you can go comment this out. So to check if this is working, we can quickly call even tick over here, and you're going to do a print string, and you're going to get the target, this pure function. You can get the display name and just append. So what we want to check if we're getting the right target, so it's gonna be we're just write current target in the site. So we're gonna hit compile, and we're gonna check at play. Just when we're gonna go, we're gonna see that it's setting the target to our blueprint, and when we get out, it is clearing the target. So if you want to see the overlaps, you can go to sphere vision and just untick the hidden in game. I'm gonna hit play, and this you will see the radius, and when we enter this radius, I'm gonna set and clear. So with this in mind, we can start doing logic in the behavior tree. And this logic, basically for now, is gonna be split into a selector, and we're only gonna have two states. So we're gonna have an attack state if the target is set, and another attack state, which is gonna be a sequence. Just rename it random roaming. So that is what gonna do. So the AI is gonna do a bit of roaming in random radius when he's not gonna do anything. And over here, he's going to be able to attack us. So we're gonna do another selector for the attack, because this one needs to abort if this fails. And in the roaming, you can get a pin, move to, and get a pin wait. And the wait we can put a bit shorter. So let's say 1 second and standard deviation of 0.25. And the move to, we need to set it to other thing than target, because we want him to move around. So over here, what we will need to do is that we'll need to do a new task for the AI. So I'm going to create a folder task, and in this we can create a blueprint, and we can call a BD task blueprint base, and this one is going to be move random. And sorry, just to be clear, you can underscore BT task, so we have better understanding of what we're trying to do. So the first thing, we're gonna go over here and create the target point for him to go. And this target point is gonna be for variable a blackboard key selector, and you can hit the editable, so we can edit in the behavior tree. And what we can also do is a radius, and this is just gonna be a float, and also it editable, so we can have access in the behavior tree. And for the function, you just want to override and receive execute AI. And what you can do is branch, and from the control pound you can get the actor location, and from this return get random reachable point in radius. And for the radius, we're gonna drop this one, and you could just specify over here the radius you want. This would be a bit simpler, but what we're going to do is we're going to change it in the behavior tree, so why not. You're going to branch on this radius, and over here you can set the blackboard value as a vector, and just plug this random location in there. And to finish the task, you want to finish execute and click on success, and over here also finish execute, but this obviously is gonna be a fail of the task, so you're not gonna hit success. Just compile, and this is okay. You're gonna have error because we didn't place this variable for the blackboard value. Hit compile again, and now there's no error. And for this, you can check in a task, and you can look after the task that we just did, so move random bd task. And for this move to, we can choose another blackboard key, which is gonna be the move destination. And also over here we can choose another move destination. And for the radius, for right now, we're gonna set it to 1000 also. So now we should have our first task. Just gonna delete it so we can start to test this. So when we hit play, you're gonna see it's gonna move around. And for this to work also, I forget to tell you, but you will need to create a nav mesh. Over here, the nav mesh. So how you create a nav mesh is very simple. You go in there, you click on nav mesh bound volume, and you drag and drop in there, and just take the nav mesh to the size that you want the AI to move in. So we're not going to use the whole map, we're going to use this area so we can fight him. And to see that green space, you're just going to hit P on your keyboard, so you can see, you can turn it off and turn it on. So I'm just going to turn it on. So what we want to do is we're going to get back the selector, and for this, since we already made function, we can get the blackboard key, and over here is going to automatically set this blackboard condition to target is set. So this is what we want. So if the target is set, we can start doing logic for the AI to come after us and attack us. As simple as we can do move to over here. So if the target is set, for right now he's gonna move to us. So let's check this out. So he's gonna move random, and if we go to him, he's gonna move to us. And now you can see this guy is not gonna miss us anytime, because he's not doing anything else than moving to us. So now we want to get into the attack, and we want to get this thing interesting. So we will do 2 attack. We will get the first attack, which will be the close range, and we'll do a long range also for your AI, you can do as many attacks as you want. You can do mid, close, very long range, or you can do also projectile or anything you want. But for right now, I'm gonna focus on those two basic. Like the long range, we're gonna do the air attack that you've seen at the start of the video, and the first one is gonna be just random melee attack. So for this, we're also not gonna need task, but we're gonna need decorators. So we're gonna do a new folder. It's gonna be decorator. So just call it deco, and you're gonna make a blueprint for. Just wanna check for BT decorator. Blueprint base. This one is gonna be is in close range distance, and underscore BT deco. And you can take this one, duplicate, and we're not gonna use it yet, but we're gonna make a long range attack also. So we're going to check the distance from the player, and it's gonna be for one distance is gonna be long range and the other close range. Easy enough. And for the task, you're going to create again 2 more tasks. So you can go BT task. This is gonna be, let's say, attack 01 BT task, and you can duplicate. Attack 02. Sorry, there's a 1. Alright, so right now we're just gonna have the task that we need to have to do the attack, but we don't have any attacks. So we need to start talking about animation and what makes a boss interesting. So for me, I'm gonna use the Great Sword animation pack, which you can find, and I've also select a couple of animation in there that I find pretty interesting. And what I did is I took the animation, and as any because you want to play animation, as any combo system that you will do, you will need to go over here, create an montage, and for this montage to actually play, you want to select the slot, so the slot upper body, and for each of these montage you put the slot to upper body, and you go to the enemy animation blueprint, and at the anim graph you will want between, from the new state machine, you will do a slot, a default slot, and it's gonna be default. You can change to upper body. Since I've already done this, but I'm just gonna redo again for you to see. You get the actor location to play the montage. So we're going to go back in the enemy blueprint, and right now we don't have anything to attack the player. So we're gonna go and create a custom event. This one is gonna be attack, let's say attack 1, and this function, this custom event, needs to get an input, and this input is gonna be the target. And for the variable type, you can just choose an actor. Perfect. And the first thing we want to do with the AI is when he's going to attack us, he's going to face the player. He's not going to attack us anywhere. You want to set over here, also get the actor location of the AI. And you're going to find a look at rotation. At the return value, you can split structure pin, and from the sequence over here, the first thing we're going to do is going to check if the target is valid. So plug the target over here, and from the is valid, you're going to set actor set actor rotation, and you can plug, and you can split structure by pin, and you can plug the Z in there. So we're setting the yaw value to the actor, to the target. So the yaw value, so we're setting the yaw value of the AI to the rotation of the target. And once we did that, we can go ahead and we will give a montage to play so we can attack the player. So just use play anim montage. And what we can do is a variable attack array. And this variable type is going to be anim montage object reference. You're going to compile, and for this to be an array, we need to click on array, compile again, and now we can add element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add let's say 7 element from 0 to 6, and we're going to choose the attack from the montage that we already did. So I'm going to put 02. I'm going to put the attack, let's say 09. I'm going to put this one, the 12. And this is basically just the attack that for me I thought looks cool for the boss to have, so I'm gonna use them. And you see the 2 other slot, I'm gonna reuse 02. So it's basically, I think this is just like a basic slash, so we can do this more often. And I'm gonna put again 09 also, so we have good selection for the boss, so he's not doing always the same thing. So you can get the array, get a copy, and for this, for now, we're just gonna get a random integer in range, and the range, of course, is gonna be the length of the array. So go from 0 to 6 if you add more attack, or if you have less attack, you need to change this variable because this is gonna go in range in the attack array. So just plug it in over here. So right now it's gonna choose a random attack and try to attack us. So go take this and comment this out. Attack 01. Just gonna put it black. And later on we can make space and do other logic over here. But for now it's gonna be fine. You're going to go back to the enemy behavior tree, and you're going to go back to the task that we made for the first attack, and over here we can receive execute AI, and we're going to create a variable which is going to be the target entry, and this can be a blackboard key selector. Put it editable. So from the receive execute AI, we can cast to the enemy blueprint. For the object is gonna be this control pound, and of course if the cast fail, we're just gonna go ahead and finish the execute of the task. But if it's not failing, we can get the target entry, get the blackboard value as actor, and let's call this function from the blueprint so we can do the attack, and the target is gonna be this blackboard key. And once we did that, we're gonna give a slight delay, so the player has a window to attack back the boss. And over here you can finish execute and click success. So this is gonna be fine for now. Just hit compile, and we need to go back to the behavior tree and have this task over here. It's gonna be the attack 1 task, and for this to work we need to give a condition. So right now basically anytime the target is set, he's gonna do this and try to attack us, but we don't want this to do. We want him to move first to us and then attack us if he's in range. So what we can do is go to the decorator, and let's say to this function override we're gonna perform a condition check, and this is gonna check for us. This is gonna return a boolean that's gonna check for us if the AI is in the good range. So what we would need to do is we need to figure out the distance that we want the AI to attack. So I'm gonna go into the enemy blueprint. I'm gonna create a variable, float variable, which is gonna be let's say close range attack distance, and this, when I hit compile, I can set it, let's say, to 200, and we can duplicate, and it's gonna be for the long range. Just rename, and let's say the long range, since we give a vision radius of 1000, we can hit 100. So when we want to go out, he's gonna do the air attack and try to reach us again. So it's gonna be a bit of interesting. So over here in variable, I'm gonna create a target entry. This again can be a blackboard key selector, editable, and first thing we can cast to the enemy blueprint. The object is gonna be the control palm, and from the control palm you can get distance, and what you want to do is get distance from this target entry. You're gonna get the blackboard value as actor, and voila. As enemy BP, you want to get the close range distance that we defined earlier, and we want to check if it's less or equal than the distance to the target entry, and just return it in this decorator. You can hit compile, and once we did this, we can go back to the enemy behavior tree, and at this we can add a decorator, and the decorator we create is going to be over here. So just make sure that the target entry is the target and it's not move destination. This target entry also is the target and it's not move destination, and we want this observer abort to be lower priority. So we can go back and we can do this again if the player is not in the sight of the AI anymore. Perfect. So we're gonna hit save, and now we're gonna check what. Okay. So right now he's gonna reach for us and he's gonna try to land an attack. Perfect. We're gonna go back like this. He's gonna reach for us, and you see we'll wait the 4 seconds before he basically try to land another attack. So if you want this to be a shorter, closer window, like the boss to be longer, you can play with those values. And when we're going to go out, he's gonna go back to his random state. So perfect. So you can see that with minimum amount of logic, minimum amount of scripting, we already have AI, a boss type of AI that is doing perfectly a lot of sense. So what we can do next, we just want to make sure that the AI can do damage to us. So we're going to create custom event, and this can be just do damage, let's say. And you're basically going to do the same thing that we did with the player character. So you're going to get the sphere overlap actor, and to this to work, we need to go to the viewport and add an arrow. This can be the damage arrow, and we need to put this arrow where we want to make damage. So about here is going to be fine. We're going to spawn a radius, go back, going to take the arrow and get the world location, and you can plug it in the sphere position. And for this arrow, this could be let's promote to variable, and let's call it damage radius. And for right now, this damage radius, it compiles, so we can give a value. This is gonna be, let's say, 100. Perfect. The object type over here, we can make array. And for this, we're gonna make array of pound. So we only want to do damage to pound. The actor to ignore, of course, we can make array and ignore ourselves, so we're not attacking and doing damage to ourselves, only the player. And when we hit compile, we're not gonna have error. Perfect. And for testing purposes, we're gonna do draw debug. If you didn't watch the combo system tutorial, I would advise you to check this one, because we're basically setting up a function for the player to attack the enemy, and this function is also doing the same, and is creating an overlap sphere for the player. And now what we're trying to do is creating the overlap sphere for the enemy, so both can attack each other and create damage. So we're going to branch. For now, plug this over here, and this can go away when we're happy with the combo system and the attack system that we have. This damage radius can go over here. The duration, let's say 1 second for now, and 0 is gonna be get controller. Let's put the color to red, and we want to check from this out actor. We want to do a for each. So for each actor, we can check if the actor has tag, and if the actor has tag, you can branch. And over here, you can get the apply damage. This is true, we're going to apply damage. And for now, let's say we want to apply damage of 0.2. The event instigator. And this damage causer is going to be yourself. And for this actor as tag, again, the actor need to has tag. So the tag that you want to get over here is the player tag. So go into the third person character blueprint, or your character blueprint, any name that you give, and you want to go over here. You want to type tag, and again, I've already get a tag for my player, but when you go, it's gonna be like this. You take a tag and you get player. Just copy paste this one and go back to the enemy blueprint and put the exact tag in there. So you're having the player and you're branching, so we can apply damage. So take this, comment this out, do damage, and put this to, let's see, red again. So I'm going to show you in the third person blueprint. The only thing I did is this attack damage, same thing, but we're getting the tag for the enemy. And what we can do in the enemy blueprint is we're gonna get the any damage event, and on any damage, basically we could do a lot of things, like we could kill the boss, but right now we're not gonna go over this because this would take a lot more time. So we're just gonna create variable health. It's gonna be good for anything you want to do. And get over here, and you want to set health, set this, and you're going to get the damage, and you're gonna do minus, of course, minus, and you want to do the health minus the damage that the AI just received. And right now what we can do is just print string and plug this over here. So right now what we can do is just print string, and for this we're going to get append, and we can get, for this will do the trick. This can be enemy HP, so you can plug this over here and return the value. So it's just gonna print to the screen. If we're doing damage, it's gonna print the value of the health, and this is gonna be fine for both player. So you're gonna go here, copy paste this any damage in the player character, and we already have a variable health, which is need to be set to 1. By the way, we need to go back to the enemy blueprint, compile, and set it to 1 because it's a %, so we need to set it to 1, and we're inflicting percentage to 1. So in the character, back to character blueprint, with this exact same function, we're just gonna debug for the player health, so write player HP. Perfect. So before we do a quick test, we're just gonna go back to the enemy AI, and every time over here, basically he does an attack. We want to call the the do damage custom event that we just made. We made over here. There's a couple of ways we could do that. We could just call the do damage over here. But what I would advise you to do is not do this, because you can see in here that the hit is not landing at the same place again. It's not landing at the same place for all the animation. So some animation you will want the sphere at the end, you will want the sphere at the first, or you will, maybe if you have 2 hit, you will want to have 2 times this custom event be triggered 2 times. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the great sword, the animation that you choose for the boss attack. So you're going to go in the montage that you made, and you're going to add a new notify, and this can be a do damage notify. And basically what you can do is you want to check for the exact spot that the attack is landing and put the notify over here. So I guess this one is gonna be over here when he's smashing the ground. You're going to take every one of those montage, and about here we want to have About here we want to have this notify, do damage. Alright, so this look good. We can go back to the enemy animation blueprint, and for this to work we want to get the anim notify, and at the anim notify we want to get all actor of class, and the class is gonna be our enemy blueprint. And for this you're going to get a copy. Perfect. And with this we can do a cast to, again, the enemy BP, plug it over here, and with this you're gonna call the function do damage, and now this is gonna work fine. So we are going to go to the boss. He's gonna go over here, and you see it's gonna spawn a sphere, and at the top is gonna remove health from the player. And when we attack, you see we're removing health. So now this is good. Now the only thing is, I think that the health of the enemy, is 0. So let's put to 1 also. So when we hit play, now the AI is gonna come to us. He's gonna try to attack us, and we can see we're losing health. We're gonna move around. The AI is gonna come after. He's gonna try to attack us, so we can try to escape. And when we try to hit him, we're gonna make damage to him, and again he's gonna make damage. So this is perfect. This is what we want. One quick way, I'm not gonna do everything in this video, but what you would want to do is that on any damage, the enemy, when you're hitting the enemy on any damage, basically you want to play a hit animation. And what also you want to do is play a camera shake, and you also want to play like a blood spatter effect or a particle effect, so something that makes the player hit reaction. So you want to do this on any damage for the enemy blueprint, and you can do the same for my character blueprint on any damage. Basically is the same rules, I would say, apply. You're playing a camera shake, you're playing a blood spatter effect, and you're playing a particle effect, and you're also playing a sound at this place, so a hitting sound, a flesh wound, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna look fine for the boss interaction. So the last thing we can do before I stop this tutorial is we're going to go ahead and create one last I think we can do this quickly. We can create one last task because we already did it. So we're gonna take this task, basically attack O2, and you're gonna get the decorator for the long range, and we're going to try to get this long range attack working before I finish this tutorial. So what you can do is basically we're going to copy this, go to attack 2, let's say open full blueprint, and we're going to copy this, and we're going to need again to create this variable entry, make it editable. And for this cast, we're not going to do attack 1, we're going to do attack 2, but we need to create the event first. So just hit compile, and for this decorator, Again, open full blueprint. We're going to take the code which is over here. So I'm going to override and perform condition check. We can paste the code. We can plug this into object, and this is not going to be the close range but the long range, so we want to get the long range. And we're going not to compare less, but if it's bigger than, plug this in, and with this you can return the value. And these pins need to get the distance from the enemy blueprint. Hit compile. The target entry over here, just recreate this variable, put it editable. Perfect. So now we're done with this task, and this we still need to do the function, the custom event to attack. So we're going to go back to the enemy blueprint and just hit save real quickly. If we have crash, for now this is gonna be fine. And what we can do basically is take this code, again copy paste this. We can call attack 2, attack O2, and over here this is not gonna be an array, it is just gonna be a simple attack. For this we can do air attack, so let's comment this out, attack 2, and call it let's say air attack. And since it's gonna be an air attack, we're going to do a variable is jumping, and we can set this variable when we're doing the attack to true. And we want to move, we already got the rotation to the player, but we also want to launch the character, the enemy character, to the player. So we're going to do a quick cast to my character blueprint, get the player character, and over here get the forward vector of the follow camera of the player. You're going to split structure, and for this you can multiply by float, you can multiply by a float, and this can be, let's say, minus 500. Let's copy paste, and again minus 500. I'm gonna give a bit of space, and from this we can launch the character. Going to split the structure pin, and the X can go in the X, and over here the Y. And you want to take the override X and Y and the Z also. And after we did that, we can put a small delay. Let's say 0.8, because for this attack we're going to play 2 animation, and the animation blueprint we're going to play a jumping animation, and then dash down, like dash on the floor animation. We're going to get the variable is jumping again, going to set it to false. Again, put another delay, let's say 0.4, and gonna make an attack variable. So attack, let's say attack 2 is active. Once we're in air and we're ready to launch this air attack, we can set it to true. And what you can also do is, we did a damage radius over here. You're gonna set the damage radius a bit bigger for this attack, so it's gonna be like a special hit that you need to avoid getting hit by this. Again, put the delay, let's say 0.7. Call the do damage. I mean, you could do directly in the animation. I will do over here. The important is that you call this function at some point. And over here 0.6, and you're gonna set back this radius to the original value, so let's say 100, and you're going to set the attack to off. So with this thing, what we can do is compile. Just gonna make save. If we have crash, going to go to animation blueprint of the enemy, and we're going to do variable to jump. We're going to do also is in air, and we're going to do to attack O2, and for each of those you want to, over here you want to set and for to jump you want to get the value of is jumping, and for is in air you want to get the value of is falling. Yes, is falling. Plug it in the execution, and for attack 2 we want to get the value of attack 2 active. Perfect. Where it compiled, we're going to go to the state machine, and we're going to allow 2 states. This one is going to be jumping, and this can be the second attack, so attack O2, and this can go back over here. And basically we need to give conditions, so I'm gonna go back to idle, and this can also have 2. So for this first branch, very easy, it's gonna be to jump. Is to jump is trigger, we're gonna go here. And for this also very easy, you're gonna plug to attack. And for this you want to check basically if you're not in air, so just get a not boolean, and you want also to check if you're not to jump, and what you can do is get end. Just make it look a bit better like this, and you can plug this and the boolean transition. So this is for this one, and to go to there, actually we're not gonna do the state at all, we just want to go back to the idle to run. And for this you just want to check if the attack is over, so you can get a nut, and you can get is in air is also false, so get a nut, get the end, and plug it in over here. So basically now the state machine is gonna be fine. We're going to go to jumping, and in the same folder I have the great sword. I found an animation for jumping, so this I think is called jump start. So I'm gonna drag jump start over here, and gonna untick loop animation, so this one's gonna look like this. So it's gonna start by jumping, so he's gonna start by jumping, and once he's at the good point, we can actually land the attack, and the attack is gonna be over here. I guess it's gonna be this one because it's a very basic attack. Yes, very basic. So once we finish over here, you want to click save. And one last thing we need to do is go back to the behavior tree, and when we did this task, we want to get the custom event attack 2. You want to plug this to target and this to the other target, and for this we can reduce the duration a bit. It compile. So yeah, one thing we forgot to do is over here we want to override the Z, but we want to give let's say 900 launch velocity so we can actually jump to us, because right now we don't have any jumping. So I'm going to test this out. The AI is gonna try to attack us, and when he's at a distance he's gonna, so let's say he's attacking us, and over here he's gonna launch an air attack, and he's gonna try, and you can see the sphere is gonna be much bigger. So I'm gonna stop this over here, and I think this is a good basic tutorial to do the enemy AI. This also, don't forget to be at lower priority, and from this you can do a lot. This is this is only the basic. This is 3 tasks. You can add, let's say, mid-range over here. You could also add evade task if you want the AI to cover the attack from the player. You could add a lot. And for this, I think I might do a video when we will do stealth NPC. And with this, what we can do, you will see, and we can change this task to move randomly, and we can make the enemy move to certain location, so to target point, and so the enemy can not random, but can do a roaming to this point, so we can do a bit of patrolling. And once he's not patrolling anymore from this point, and you didn't achieve to stealth take down him, over here we can set basic attacks, so it's gonna be a really cool stealth NPC. And also maybe in the future I can do other video when we actually go over here and make more complex tasks for boss. So that's it. I'm gonna stop this here, and I hope you enjoyed the video.